Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a dedicated book review, and today's book review that I wanted to Today's book that I wanted to review is a book that I actually read this month, and it is called Bloody Soul. So I read this via my local library, and I obviously had to give it back, so we're just gonna have an image up here on the screen. If you would like to see my reading vlog, I think I only read it over one reading vlog, so I will have that link down below for you guys. I'll also have my TBR for the month. Anything else that you may or may not want, just check out down below. So that being said, what is Bloody Soul? So Bloody Soul is a book where we follow a 16-year-old Korean national, and he is split in his mind. Okay, so he has a father who is the head of a gang, and his mother, who formerly was a beloved actress, and they of course became a family. And when he was young, his mom just vanished, and he never understood where she went. He never understood why she left, and that has always been something that has been traumatic to him, and he never really got over it. So fast forward, like I said, because that happened around when he was like 6 or 8. Fast forward to when he becomes 16, and he now has tattoos everywhere, especially the tattoos on his hand is very significant, not only for the gang, but also his family. And he has been kind of having this frame of mind where he's going to grow up and actually become the new head of the gang. And his dad keeps saying, nah, chill out, you know, wait till you finish college, wait till you finish high school, all that stuff, and then we'll talk about it. And he never understands why his dad won't just immediately let him join the gang, because at the end of the day, he's like, this is what I'm gonna do. It is what it is. You can't stop me. And so because he is now grown up for 10 plus years at this point, only being raised by his father, who is, like I said, a gang member, he begins to idolize his dad and actually take a lot of the traits that his dad has, such as bullying others. So he creates his own little mini gang with some of his friends in his high school, and they begin to push people up for their lunch money, all of this stuff, saying that if you don't give this money, you're gonna get beat up, basically. And like I said, just this hunger for not understanding why his mother was missing is always an underlying issue. And you see that in various ways throughout the book, and like things that he does. And you also, it's just a very interesting book. You see it, you see issues of racism, mainly between people who are fully Korean and people may be half Korean, or they don't really address anybody who's not Korean at all, but I'm sure that's also another layer in this book that could be interesting to talk about. And I just thought this was a really, really good book. I've never read a book to date that I can think of that actually takes place in Korea. A lot of them are like Korean Americans, and although, you know, that's interesting, and like I live in America, so of course I want to read about people, but like I love to read about things that happening in other countries with other people. The one kind of fly in the ointment for me is that the author is not a Korean American. She's not Korean at all. She is a psychologist, though. She's a teen, I believe, psychologist. So she can understand the psychological aspect, which is why I think this book is so intriguing, because it's not truly as fictional as I think a lot of other fiction, YA, PTSD traumatic books are. I feel like there's a lot of grain of truth in this book that other authors who are just straight up authors and maybe don't have the background of being a psychologist or a psychiatrist just don't have. They just don't have it. And so I think that kind of added a little bit of flair that was very intriguing. The only thing that I kind of did not like about this novel is that there was a little bit of a cliched moment where like our main character felt one way, and then 2 pages later, they felt another. And I'm just like, you know, life ain't that quick, okay? Like, I'm still learning about things that I did wrong when I was 2 days ago old, okay? And I'm still trying to reflect and get it together. So for me, I kind of wish that there was a little bit more realistic in the page length, in the day range, and like, you know, the week range of our character changing and molding. But you do definitely see our main character, I haven't said his name at all, his name is Rocky. We definitely do see Rocky progressing and changing throughout the book and really transforming himself and learning more about himself and his past, and like why he is acting the way he's acting and how he can improve on himself. So I really do appreciate that aspect. I appreciate getting the kind of psychological therapist element of it, but at the same time, just because you like to watch Korean dramas and Korean mob movies and stuff like that doesn't mean you full on hit the head on the nail. You know what I mean? So I would have loved to have this book been written by somebody who actually is Korean and has actually seen these mafia bosses and these gangs straight up in close quarters. I would love to see what they would have written and how they would have written it. Obviously, it would be a different take if they don't also have the psychological training behind their writing, but I still would have loved to see that in comparison to what we got here. Either way, I think this book was really, really good. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, maybe a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know. Really quickly, I want to just go through some of the trigger warnings that may trigger you. So we have abuse, PTSD, parental abandonment, drug abuse, addiction, racism, and bullying. So please stay away from this book if those things are triggering to you. Like I've said in quite a few videos, I think at this point, I don't get triggered very easily in books, regardless of things that may be similar to what I have experienced that may be portrayed in a book. It just doesn't happen for me. So I hope I covered all of the things that coulda, shoulda, woulda triggered you. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I would recommend this book, but once again, I would love to read a very similar book tailored towards the same audience, a different audience, who cares, but written by somebody who is actually Korean, a Korean national, or has lived in Korea for a significant amount of time, so that they can actually, you know, give some more truth to that fictional element, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you do check out Bloody Soul because of this review, I would love for you to sound off down below so I can know. I always love if I help you get a new book recommendation or anything like that. It helps warm my heart and all of that jazz. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.